Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Dale around Yanks Band. We have a fantastic show for you. Guild Wars 2's first year anniversary sale is underway. Wow, that's a mouthful. A pro league player's view on the competitive SPVP scene. A storm is brewing surrounding a bow. Get it? You'll get it in a second. And hey, don't boo. And much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. He is a moderator of MMO Champion. With all this Gemstore controversy, he is going to drop the knowledge of truth in advertising and the goal to get the biggest piece of that money ball. Say hello to Jim.
Hi, everybody. I don't even know what to say to that one.
Was he? Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember him in that.
Oh, remember, we're doing both Ryan Reynolds and Chris Pratt now, so.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
See, now this is educational in Hollywood celebrities, so I don't know how educational that could be. And you can read her stuff at her blog, MMORly.com, and at MMORPG.com, a mod over at MMO Champion. Jeez, that's a lot of MMOs going on. Maybe Arena will add sound packs to the Gemstore. May I suggest a roaring sound pack? Say hello to Robin.
Yay.
Come on, you can do the VO for it. All your roars. Arena, I have... See, I have all the past stuff. Just call me up. I'll send you the audios of it. You're
I'll
good.
tell them they should hire me to do the roar of the next dragon.
Oh, God. Yeah, it'll be bubbles, so it's underwater. Like, just muffle it.
Maybe the roar of the baby dragon.
There you go. If we need if they have one like Choop and Chompawat for the little tigers, you could have baby dragons. You got a down pack. Yep. And he writes over on his blog, agegaming.wordpress.com, where he answers the age-old question: with everyone going back and forth on the Gemstore topics, can we say they are selling PvP in the Gemstore? Say hello to Age.
Wait, what? Yes?
So yeah.
What do you think about that? Yes, technically because they're finishers. Yes.
You always know you have a good one when you make Age go, wait, what?
Alright, let us jump right into it. It's kind of a very much sandwiched like Gemstore stuff, but before you log away from that, there's actually...
Gemstore.
Oh, jeez. There's actually controversy. Surprise, surprise. So, first up, so we're kind of going to go start with the Gemstore, but also finish with the Gemstore, but yeah. First up, we have this past week, we got these two new items, and they were the Stormbow skin and the Emissary staff, or sorry, the Envoy staff. Or is it
no, Emissary staff, that's right.
Oh, okay, sorry. It's the Envoy staff from Guild Wars 1. So basically, if you don't know, these are kind of skins from Guild Wars 1. And before you say, wow, that's lazy of them, I mean, I think a lot of people loved it when they did it with the armors, like when they first launched. And I kind of wish there was more of them, so hopefully there will be more. But yeah, just so you guys know, and always again, thank you to Dolphy.net for letting us see all this stuff so you can use your gems wisely. But first up, the Storm Bow, as you can see there, 600 gems. It is available till Tuesday, so if you're watching this right now, you got 3 days. If you're watching this on YouTube, I guess technically everybody's watching it right now, but if you're watching it on YouTube a day later, you gotta hurry, because like I said, Tuesday. And also the Emissary staff.
To the future?
Yeah. For 600 gems. But a lot of people are up in arms about this. Mostly with the Stormbow, which is a longbow. So for people out there that are a thief, sorry. Or
I'm excited because it's a longbow and not a shortbow, because I have so many shortbow things currently and need longbow.
Honestly, I would very much like you to find another shortbow skin that you like for your ranger.
Shut up! I'm working on it. I need more things.
Because I am really tired of hearing that neighing noise.
yeah, we do need a really awesome shortbow skin so she can switch. That doesn't have a sound effect.
Chuka. I'm just short on mats to get through tier 2. It sucks. Anyway, so why are people mad about the longbow skin?
basically, and like chat's saying, a lot of people assumed that this was going to, like, it looked like possibly a legendary, which, I mean, I'm sorry guys, stop trying to bring it up.
It looks so cool. They think it would have been a legendary weapon.
Yeah, it is. You know, it does look very nice. The pictures don't do it justice. You can preview it in game, or Dolphy also has videos, but the animations on it are beautiful. And like I said, it's based on Guild Wars 1's a bow from Guild Wars 1, and so is that staff. But yeah, a lot of people just felt like it could have been legendary quality, and I mean, at this point, I think a lot of people assumed that this was going to be the legendary bow, but maybe that, you know, they scrapped the rest of the stuff, so they were like, let's throw in the Gemstore. But in reality,
that's possible, but it feels like a kind of big leap to make, at least to me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, on the side of the legendary, it feels like it just needs footfalls and an aura, and it'll be a legendary.
And particle effects for your projectiles.
Yeah, I think some skills have special effects, but not all of them. But on the other side, like, a whole bunch of Guild Wars 1 cosmetics have been put in the Gemstore, like armors, chaos gloves, I mean, chaos weapons or black line tickets, things like that. So,
and for everybody that played Guild Wars 1, this basically looks like the Stormbow from Guild Wars 1, right? Like the Guild Wars 1.
Much. It's a little bit more polished up, just because it's a newer game, but
yeah, I mean, it's how many years in the future for this, but I really don't comprehend why people are upset about this.
I do want to say about that staff. I was looking at the staff today in game, and that looks creepy as hell. Like, that eye in the middle there looks around and stuff. Like,
well, it is based off of, like we said, it's the Envoy staff from Guild Wars 1, which was
so creepy. I'm
which
just
was
saying, it's
yeah,
super
it was
creepy.
factions and basically the envoys of, wow, I'm blanking on the name. Who was the bad villain in factions? Wow,
That
two
dude?
swords.
His
Shiro.
bad thing.
Shiro, yes.
Shiro?
Well, his
So
his
the
people,
guy who's actually
his
part of
envoys.
the Revenant.
Yeah. Hey, you know. But
You know, the class that you've been
hey,
playing the most
the
of
only one that
recently?
matters is
Yeah, that's why I
Abaddon. It
was
all
picking
leads
it.
back to Abaddon. That's the only one that matters. That's the important part to take away from this.
And technically, Dale only uses Jealous and Glint, so...
Yes.
Eugene's saying that the Stormbow doesn't look very much like the one from Guild Wars.
Well, I just pulled up the wiki on my tablet here for Guild Wars 1, and I mean, yeah, it's very clearly not quite the same because the engines are completely different, and it's got the same relative, you know, shape.
Same idea, though.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same idea.
Okay.
I do wish it was a bit more solid, though. The one in Guild Wars 2.
Like an actual solid-looking bow instead of the ethereal-looking, like, construct of magic kind of deal.
Yeah, because it kind of has like a 30% transparency. I kind of wish it was bumped to like 50 or 60. So it looks like you actually have a bow, but it still has the lightning particle effects all around it.
Yeah.
I will
did
admit...
see-
Oh,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
okay, I do kind of wish that stuff like this would not appear sheathed, like Aether and the longbow and shortbow for the spirit weapons, and then something like this. I wish when you sheathed it, it disappeared.
Yeah. I mean, it would make sense because it kind of looks like it's there, but not really.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be amazing if there was like unique, like some, like for Mjolnir, like it was just invisible, but maybe when you unsheathed it, it like came to your hand type thing, like a lightning bolt.
Like
oh my god! Please,
If
Arena,
weapons like
please.
this had some kind of like focus where it was like a small solid piece of equipment, and then you pulled it out and it forms around it.
Yeah.
So
That'd be cool. That's legendary status.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I like how people are referring to it as being near legendary because, like you guys said, it's missing a couple things that other legendaries have.
well,
like
that's
skin-wise.
basically all of the Black Lion trading weapons. A lot of like, what about the whip sword?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the black.
The...
Yeah, a lot of the Gemstore stuff and a lot of the Black Lion ticket weapons are near legendary status. They're just missing footfalls and aura and particle effects. Like web attack particles.
I'd say a number of the like a lot of the timekeeping stuff could have easily been that, because there's a lot going on with those and they look really cool. The whole like the Dream Thistle ones, like those have a lot. Like I could see if we're making the argument that if something is really flashy and looks really awesome, it could have been a legendary. You can make the argument for nearly any of them, really. It's I don't know. It seems silly to me. I do know some people got up in arms because the Stormbow has a really nice animation for the string. Like it looks really good. Whereas like I think it's Dreamer, Chuka, and Kudzu they have it, but it's not very noticeable at all. And I think Matt Pennebaker when they posted about that said they're working on making those better. So,
which is a good thing. That at least brought that to light, because yeah, they definitely did say that they're going to work on Kudzu's bowstring, because that's one thing that's been pretty lacking for quite a while. So
yeah, which it's nice that they'll go back and still address those sorts of things on the existing legendaries, even though we're not getting new ones. So it's cool.
Well, I mean, that was one of the things that they added for what they added at least an unsheathing particle for all the offhand legendaries, right? Like I know for a while that the Flameseeker Prophecies didn't do anything. I don't think it has. Does it have footfalls now? It's like runic
Flameseeker?
steps. Yeah.
yeah, it has like little like script
Yeah.
runes or
How
How
something
does
come off
that
it.
work if it has footfalls and you have a main hand that
Main hand
is a legendary
main
with
hand
footfalls?
dominates over offhand.
Okay.
Unless I think
But,
they can combine it. Because I think a couple will.
No, it's
By
Oh, is it
your
all? Okay.
auras combined.
Well, I thought something with like the. Okay, I thought the sword and something could work together. But
It would be cool if you had two legendaries equipped like that. They could make it like the left foot would be one and the right foot
The
would
left-
be the other.
That would be the best
that
way to
would
do
be
it.
kind of funny for like it's a warrior with sword axe. Wait, no, axe sword. His right foot has the to trick people. You're walking backwards. They're never gonna know my build until it's too late. Anyway, but yeah, that. Actually, I like
You
that
just
level of
broke her.
gameplay. I like that level of gameplay. I hope they.
I was like imagining all the ways that would work out. It would be really funny. Dear ArenaNet, this needs to be a thing.
Yeah, and Chad is saying that the bow does have a sound effect to it. It is. They say it is quiet, so, but there is a sound effect to it.
Yeah, I was actually debating getting it or not today.
Well, you
Still
better
debating.
hurry. You have 3 more days.
I
Yeah.
farmed gold and I got it. So
Well, part of my problem is I don't know what else is going to be coming to the thing here soon, because they're doing their whole like special sales stuff, and I don't want to run out of like I have 2,000 gems right now, so I'm like struggling because I'm like I want to spend them all, but I don't want to spend them too fast. And what if something I really want comes?
Is that it? Just drop $50. Be done. Wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna farm gold if I see something I want.
I might do that, but I might grab these. I just got paid yesterday, and I'm like, I don't want to do this, but I want to do this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And yeah, Chad's saying insta-buy. Like, honestly, yeah, I when I first saw him, I'm like, ooh, like, I was reaching for my wallet. I was like, no, I can't afford it right now. Like my one hand's just like, I'm like, I should really not. And it's like Pari pulling out like the credit card. It's like, what are you doing? So.
I didn't tell you to do that.
Well, Deo, that's the thing, is their system can save your credit card information for you.
Yeah.
I purposely don't do that. So I have time while I'm typing things in going, should I? But
Yeah.
Probably really smart, actually.
That is a good idea.
I make that a strict rule on like these types of games in Steam. I never...
The worst is like, you know, if you get in a habit of buying them like $10 at a time because you're like, it's $10, and like $100 later you're like, God damn it.
Yep.
That's how League gets you.
Yeah.
And see, that's why I can't get into like a game like League or something, because I would... no.
$1,500 later, you realize, oh god.
But yeah, and I think a lot of people, once they got over like that, I really doubt this was going to be the legendary bow that they were going to come out with, because for one, like, it does look like near legendary, but it's based off of Guild Wars 1 skin, which none of the other legendaries, even the new generation, don't do that. Which honestly, I'd like to see more.
The Raven one is based off of something from Guild Wars 1.
That's the precursor of the Raven's branch. I could see why people would say that, but
the only thing I could think of that would make sense for like a Guild Wars 1 weapon coming back to be part of a legendary is as one of the precursor steps, because it'd be like you find a broken version of it and that becomes something that you restore, and that's you're restoring an old legend. Like, that would make sense.
Which is like the one thing I could think of is like the fiery dragon sword, but unfortunately, if you played Guild Wars 1, you probably have that. Like, so it's like.
Most Excellent Hat makes a good point about Kaith's dagger, because like there aren't very many really good dagger skins.
Incinerator is all you need.
Incinerator kind of looks like garbage.
What?
Shut your
I don't like it.
I thought you said Kaith's dagger, and I was like, how can you say that?
No, I like that. That one looks cool. I don't think I'd use it because the only person I use daggers on is my elementalist. And honestly, there are no daggers in this game. They're all short swords. So
I got the Time Walker dagger because I really like that one for my elementalist. I thought it worked well with the Time Worn. I call it Time Walker, but I feel like that's not right.
Almost sounded like you said Time Warner, which I was like, that's just a bad company. I mean, anyway, but yeah, it sounds like, you know, we're very tempted to buy these or farm the gold for them and whatnot. So yeah, once again, if you are watching this, you still have time to get it. Well, if you're watching it immediately when it came out, you still have time to get it. So till Tuesday. So definitely go
Sunday.
pick them up. Yes. So 600 gems apiece. But let us move on to a post that came out this past week about the competitive PvP scene. So for people that don't know, Lord Helsith, which I'm amazed if you're watching this that you don't know who Lord Helsith is, because he's well more popular than us. Just being frank about it. But he put up a...
No, you're John.
Because it's right there. Right there. Okay, anyway. Before we stray more, he put up a video, I want to say it was Tuesday or Wednesday, but sometime during the week, about just his thoughts on the competitive scene for Guild Wars 2. And I'd definitely like to hear chat's thoughts, and you know, people on YouTube, definitely throw out your thoughts, because I think this is the best way for them to possibly find answers, new ideas, who knows. But basically, long story short, I think it was like a 30-minute video, but like I said, it's well worth it. But like, long story short, it was just basically, Guild Wars 2 currently struggles as a competitive game. Guild Wars 2 benefits from a competitive scene, but currently has instabilities. What other issues have you guys kind of picked up from the video? And do you agree with them?
Well, I'll let you guys.
No, I'll let Age lead, because you're more into this than I am. This is just an outsider's look on everything going on for me. So go right ahead.
So like, I'm the average PvP player, or like above average, I guess. But I agreed with a lot of Helseth's points. There were some points I didn't even know about. He talks about a disconnect between the pro players and Arena concerning events and just knowing when the next event's going to be, or if there is going to be a next event. So right now it's like there's a World Championship, but we don't know if there's going to be anything after that. So it causes instabilities with teams and so on and so forth. So apparently a lot of backstabbing and stuff like that, which I didn't know there was like a ton of that, if anything. So
backstabbing, like how?
I don't know.
I didn't know if
I-
you went into details
I
about
don't-
that.
Nerf
I don't think he
thieves,
went.
that's how.
Yeah.
It's a backstab. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Damn thieves.
this there's a social disconnect between competitive players and casual players and everyone else because of um, the fact that people still feel that Guild Wars 2 doesn't belong as an esport, and they kind of just downplay it a lot. Um, and I feel like it has the potential to be an esport. It just needs a lot of work being put into it and more publicity. Not necessarily by the community, but also by ArenaNets. Because I realize sometimes, um, they have the Worlds tournament coming up, and I'm like, okay, I want to see like what tickets are, how much they are, and I couldn't really find it on their site. I had to look at their Twitter feed that's on the main page when they posted it a couple days after the qualifiers. And I'm like, well, that's not really intuitive at all. So, and I don't like the ESL site at all. It's so hard to
I was
navigate.
gonna
So,
say, didn't they have like another site just focused on that stuff that they made a while
yeah,
ago?
it's
Okay.
ESL site is really hard to navigate, but they do have a competitive, like Arena has a competitive site, so they should be putting all the stuff there as well,
Mhm.
just to spread more news. And I feel like that site could really be
So,
a nice place for a lot of information of upcoming ArenaNet hosted tournaments and things
yeah,
like that.
it's weird they don't make use of that, and I haven't seen them like mention its existence ever since they first made it, which I think is also kind of a problem because people forget about it.
Yeah, 'cause I check it out every now and then, and right now it does look like it has a decent setup for Worlds. It does have, the brackets and all that stuff. I would like that they would make a post after qualifiers just saying like these are the teams that are going into Worlds, and they're playing for this much money on
Yeah.
this date, and you can buy tickets there if you're in the area, things like that. That would be like really helpful. Things like that are more helpful than you actually would expect. So I just hope they realize that and then do that a little bit more. You don't necessarily have to like spam your Twitter feed or anything like that, but
Well, I mean, I feel like they barely talk about it now, so like they wouldn't
yeah,
have to do much more to be doing something.
But I do want to say in Arena's defense, I do feel bad for him because I remember when they were pushing the PvP stuff, and then they had to go on Twitter
Exactly.
going, "Look, we're talking about it because it's happening right now." Because so many people were outraged. It's like, don't talk about. It's like it's like now
that's that
like the
disconnect.
PVE players are
Yeah.
appeased because they're not talking about it, but then it's like the PvP players like, well, you're not influencing it. It's like, oh, we'll start talking about it again. That the PvE players come back. It's like
It's true.
the vocal minority
That's-
keeps
yeah, exactly.
I
popping up.
think one of the biggest issues there is the fact that the three modes of the game seem to think that they have to be more important at the time.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Like
Yeah.
there are and I'm going to say vocal minorities because I'm pretty sure that's the case, is that there are people in PvE, PvP, and WW who think that they should be the ones getting focused all the time. That
Yeah.
they are the big deal with Guild Wars 2.
And it should just be PVE for the record. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, but you run into that with a lot of games. You get people who have really strong backlashes when you talk about things not their thing. I remember Blizzard has gotten that too when they first started pushing esports on theirs as well. And all of that stuff, people were like, well, why are you pulling away from WoW and blah blah and like stuff. I think really they just need to find a balance, and honestly, like I feel like people just need to chill. Like as long as they aren't constantly like esports, like there's nothing wrong with the occasional, hey, just so you know, blah. But I also think that they need to make use of their esport focused venues more, like the website, and maybe they could have a Twitter of the official from Guild Wars 2 or competitive or whatever that people who particularly want that stuff can follow, and like every now and again on the main one be like, hey, just so you guys know this exists. um, to help gather people, because like the main one will still be the main one that everybody will first find and discover, just because that's what the game is. But you would need to occasionally still get those tweets on the main one, but like people just need to chill. Seriously. Like, that's just my thought. Like, I want competitive to do well. I really want it to do well. I want it to like go crazy and have fun. I think that's great. I'm not huge into it, but like it doesn't hurt us that it does well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just look at it this way. If you're not a fan of PvP or World v World or vice versa, one thing or another, if it becomes more popular for someone else in a different aspect, that's still putting money into their pocket that they can utilize for the whole game. Like,
Yeah.
so if they get a flood of people to come into PvP and get more money to come in for themselves, they can put it towards PvE, World v World, and PvP, and just keep doing that. I mean, so trust me, it's not a bad thing for them to try to get more people interested in the different variations, or even the players that enjoy all three.
Yeah. And another issue that is not really, I guess it's for everyone. It concerns everyone just because it's the lack of prestige in Guild Wars 2, because we've talked about this a lot, but it's the divisions don't really feel rewarding in terms of, hey, I reached this division, I'm like this really good player, when people can just grind to the highest division. The rewards everyone can get technically, so there's no real prestige of like, I reached this, like I have this high skill cap, I got this as a reward for my thing. Like, I'm not saying not everyone should have Ascension. I'm saying there needs to be like some kind of bonus for people who are, who could have gotten Ascension like 3 times by now.
Yeah.
For those people need some sort
It
of
gets shinier
bonus.
and shinier. You're just like, ah.
I
One
can't
of-
look at you.
Well, I know I brought it up last week with the way you ascend, or how you go through ranks in Guild Wars 2, and there's a bit of a disconnect from my other PvP experience, which is League of Legends, where you can fall back. Like, if you screw up, if you just throw a crap ton of games, you can drop yourself all the way back down to Bronze 5.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. Like, once you hit Ruby, you can't fall any lower than Ruby, right, Age?
Yeah.
Or is it
Yeah.
Emerald?
No, you can't drop out of any division once you reach it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you can't drop out of anything. That's if you get a lucky string of games, or, I mean, I know people do it in other sports. If you pay someone to play on your account, which I'm pretty sure can get you banned, if you pay someone to group with you and help you win, because I know that's a thing in other competitive games. It's, if you get that far and you keep playing, like, there needs to be degradation, and there needs to be some kind of way to fail. Like, you need to have a way to fall out of the divisions.
I don't think that would be a good change overall. I think especially for the lower levels, like, that could be overly frustrating. But I feel like when you're getting the higher divisions, it would make more sense that if you're doing poorly, then you would fall out of those. Like,
well, I mean, the frustrating. I mean, and that's the, as frustrating as it would be if you are somehow stuck in amber because you just feel like you're not doing well because you're losing pips or whatnot. Get better. Like, I really hate saying that, because basically saying get good makes me feel like an asshole. But
I mean, it's not always, like, I'm sure that is a component, but like, it's still possible to be really good and get like a bunch of bad matchmaking or whatever that happens.
persistence. Like, if you,
That's frustrating.
in a lot of competitive systems, your skill level with number of games played will show what your actual skill level is. You literally just have to have the persistence for the data to average out effectively.
Yeah.
So you can have a string of bad games. It can be discouraging. Stop. Play again tomorrow. Play a few unranked games. Have fun. Go do something else. Come back later.
Yeah. I honestly feel it comes down to finding a good system where, because, Guild Wars 2 is the type of game where everyone should be able to get anything they want if they just put in the work. But I feel like with PvP, they can do that, but they also need to find the balance between giving prestige awards to people who actually are really good at PvP.
Yeah.
And I feel like Overwatch's new rank system that's going to be in Season 2, I think it would be a really good fit because it's going to have divisions, but the higher, some of the top 3 divisions, I think, you can drop down into the lower ones. So if you're I'll use the pip system for example. So if you're in Legendary, but if you drop down, you go back to Diamond, and then you could go back to Ruby, for example. But you won't drop lower than Ruby. That might be a good way to do it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. I think
Yeah.
that would be a good compromise. That would help both groups.
And I believe something what League of Legends does is that the first 3 divisions are Bronze, Silver, and Gold, and once you reach Gold, you get that exclusive skin for the season. So that could be the type of barrier for Ascension. And then once you go higher, you get better trimmings on your banners and stuff like that. So I feel like if ArenaNet could give PvP players some kind of gold trims or something that shows that, hey, I'm really good at PvP. These are all my gold trims that they can kind of show off. I don't know.
Do you think something like having a title for people who finish certain points in the thing at the end of a season would be good? People like that.
So they have every time you reach Legendary, you get a new title each season.
Yeah, but
I'm not. So you're saying a cumulative performance over the year, I guess?
Yeah,
you would get...
over the season, so not just getting to Legendary, but dividing it up even more. If you end up in the top, say 1% of the people who make it to Legendary, stuff like that,
Okay, yeah, I could see something. Just incentives of people who do really well in PvP. Give them rewards for playing super well, for being persistent, for staying on the top of their game. It gives them the drive to keep going and keep doing well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No.
To be honest, I think that... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Dale.
No, I was going to say, my question on that, because it makes it sound like you're saying once you get higher in the division, it should unlock a title or something special like that. What about the concept... what about the concept of possibly losing the stuff? Maybe you have to stay in the top 1%. Once you're top 2%, you don't get that for me, I was thinking get finishers or something, because I was thinking Guild Wars 1 where it's top guilds had the special trim on your guild cape, but I really didn't want to bring that up. Be oh, let's have guild capes.
No,
but almost on a banner.
It's something. The way I envision it working would be something that would be awarded at the end of the season. So it would take everybody's rankings at the end of the season and be the top 1% or whatever would get this, and then down and down. And you'd want to keep playing because if you stop playing, somebody else could push you out of those brackets.
Oh, okay, so it was working I was saying. I thought you meant once you got that season, it unlocked for whatever. Okay, then yeah.
I think in League, and you used to not be able to fall out of divisions in League. So if you got to Gold, you'd stay in Gold no matter how many losses. The problem they had with that is there were people who basically became what they called gatekeepers. And these are people who were in Gold 5, 0 league points, who would sit in their ranked games and would troll and would feed and would AFK And they did this specifically because they didn't want people to get the skin for that year.
Wow.
Because the bulk of your reward happens if you finish the season as gold.
Uh-huh.
And
Awful.
it's terrible. It's a horrific thing, and that's why they implemented the fact that if you keep failing at the bottom of a tier, you can fall out of a tier. And then after that fact, because there are promos, like there are 5 divisions, there are 5 ranks within each division. You have to win a best of 3 to move up a rank, and you have to win a best of 5 to move up a division. If you've already moved to the rank or division if you had already been there, you don't have to do that. You just move forward. So I honestly think that's probably something that needs to happen for Guild Wars. Like, you need to be able to fall, and there needs to be some kind of test of skill to move up. But once you've hit that point, that you've passed that, you've already proven that you can do that. So you can just keep moving forward. Now, I think they also implemented that as for end of season rewards, it counts the highest rank you've reached, not necessarily where you are at the time.
Okay.
But as for like the motivation for League, for people getting gold, is getting the unique skin, because it means that you were in the top 50%, like, because bronze is 20-ish% of the players in ranked, and silver is about 30. It's like 50 to 60% of people are in bronze and silver in ranked play, and then the top 40% of League players are in gold and higher. If you have that skin, you've proven, hey, I'm in the top 40% of players, so I'm better than more than half of the other people who play than me. Guild Wars 2, I mean, a lot of it's about the skins, right? So one or a set of skins, I don't necessarily think... Actually, if it were like a ticket system similar to WW, where you hit wherever the rank starts for every one division you have after that. So if you're like... it's Amber, Ruby, Emerald?
Mm-hmm.
If you say start with Emerald, and then Emerald, and then every tier after that you get another ticket, and then you have a weapon set, kind of like the heroic Mistforged weapons. And you have one ticket per. And then each season, or maybe each year, you get a different set of weapons. So it's like, I was good enough to get like most of the set. Like, if you hit Legendary, would that give you 4 tickets a season, if there are 4 seasons a year?
There's like I forget how many tickets you get. I think it's around like 60?
That's I'm just talking one ticket, one weapon. So if you go from Emerald to Legendary, that's 4 tickets, right?
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, and then there are 16 weapons, at least not counting the underwater weapons, because apparently we don't want them anymore. So if you hit Legendary,
PvP was the first place they removed underwater. Put the underwater weapons back in PvP. Be like, wait, I can get underwater, like...
Yeah, so if you can say, I got the entire Season 2 Legendary set, or the entire Season 2 PvP set, that means that for, I'm calling them season as in the year, so like not this year, so like the 2017 season.
Yeah.
I got the entire set. That means you hit Legendary all 4 seasons. That's something to talk about.
That would
And
that also I think would be doable. Like, I would imagine they would be able to just come up with skins for just
make it
for an entire year.
And if you want to make it prestige, make them like unique particle effect Black Lion trading post weapon style.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
just make them that tier of quality. Yeah. And then there you go. You've got the prestige. It's like, I've got 12 of the 16 weapons. That means you did pretty damn good throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. What I like about the idea is you can actually extend that into making that a collection, and if you complete the collection, you get something for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't see them not doing that. If they did something like this, I would, like, it would be a no-brainer to do that, to make it a collection like that. I couldn't see them not doing that, Yeah.
And the collection reward could be like, here, have 25 achievement points and a whole crap ton of ascended material.
Or
it wouldn't even
could even give you a decoration for your guild hall to be like.
What was that, Dale?
Or if you complete all of them, you get a decoration for your guild hall, and they have this they have that sign thing. Maybe it has a plaque on there where you could say, "This was so and so that did this." Like, so you could put in your guild hall, and be like, "Yeah, that was me." Like, so yeah, they could
I
go a
could
lot
see
of ways
that
with like a
for,
collection.
Like guild teams or something. That would be cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of cool ideas out there. If anybody else has any ideas, love to hear. Like,
I might actually post that on the forums.
You should.
yeah, because that's the best way to do it. I mean, a lot of people knock, World of Warcraft for that. Like, oh, they steal that idea. Yeah, well, they're still around too. Like, it's like that's what you have to do. You have to look to what other games are doing, seeing if you can do it in your own game. So I like the sound of it. So I hopefully they will.
You have to Steve Jobs it.
Yeah.
And I get one of the last things that Helsa brought up was production and casting quality needs to go. I don't know about casting, so I'm just going to take his word for it. You should focus on 1-2 people max per fight, because moving your perspective all around just makes it impossible to see what's going on. And the production value, it has gotten better from Renet, but there's still crashes, there's still some stream issues, so they just need to work on that. They're getting better at it, but they just need to get to the point where it doesn't happen, or it's just rare when it happens.
Yeah.
My initial thought, and if everything is an ArenaNet sponsored event, I know that Riot came up with a local client for League. And they only use it for the Riot managed events, which I think is just North America, maybe EU, but it's
EU, yeah.
But it's basically like having a local client means you don't have to worry about network issues.
Yeah.
So for things like the Pro League seasons, they won't be able to use a LAN client just because the players are scattered all over, and they just have to fly in week after week to actually play. I don't know if they can do that.
For the big things where everybody's.
But for the big things where people go to like one country or something like that, I strongly feel that. Yeah, I strongly feel they should have a LAN client, because the World Championship is going to be in U.S. and Europeans have to play in the U.S. They have to play, and their client, they have to play with ping essentially, and that's not fun at all. So if they face like a U.S. team that has less ping than them, it's kind of just weird how it works. And also with a LAN client, you're likely to solve more issues with crashes and stuff, and have less of those as well. So I kind of feel strongly about, if you're going to have an event with all the players in one area, or the players are at the studio, then have a LAN client.
Yeah, it seems weird that they wouldn't already be doing that for these. Like, that just seems odd to me.
Yeah.
And kind of what chat was saying, like introducing like mini ghostly hero, they'd PvP more. I mean, something along those lines. Like, if you can earn these tickets, maybe you're not interested in the weapons. Like, throw in some mini pets or something. Or
I would say that there'd have to be some kind of like consumable, or I mean, if for some reason the draw of the collection was not enough for you, maybe the achievement would be more tied to tickets spent as opposed to skins collected.
Okay.
That's possible.
So if you spend 16 tickets during the year, that might work better.
If you're earning them for each thing, it could just be like tickets earned, not necessarily spent. Like, you can do it the same way, because maybe there's not something you want to get and spend them on, but like, you're still doing the things to earn them, and you're not being able to repeat the same thing over to earn it. It could easily be based on how many that you earned.
Yeah, and then you wouldn't have to worry. Like, you'd be able to put in like throwaway stuff in the purchase stuff. So like obsidian shards, I think, is a pretty go-to standard for a lot of other throwaway things for like map currencies. Obviously, you'd probably want something with a little more value if, you know, this is going to be sitting side by side with unique, one-time only purchasable skins.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would be an issue there.
Concerning minis, they do have the still mini llamas, where I think PvP is the
That's a
only
good
way you
point.
can get them, and you
Yeah,
can
which
throw
makes
them
me
in the
so
forge.
sad.
You can throw them in the forge to upgrade them to like more fancier llamas. So
They get a top hat and then a
There's
monocle.
One with the top hat and the monocle.
yeah. I think that's the highest one actually.
Does
And a
the
bow tie.
llama do the little llama dance that the llama does with the llama finisher?
You should get it and find out.
I know! I keep saying we're gonna PvP more. I'm gonna do it.
Well, I mean, you know, you're talking about getting back into PvP, Arlie. It seems like you've had some mixed feelings about it. Speaking of mixed Borderlands coming. We did the polls, we did all the stuff, and it is official. Mixed Borderlands will be coming Tuesday, August 23rd.
Mixed Borderlands! Woo!
So it's interesting how it's going to work. The red Borderlands will always be desert, and the other two will always be alpine. So that was the one that won, 2 alpine, 1 border or desert. With this, it will be a 45 to 90 minutes of War v World downtime for the Switch, and which means it's going to require ending the match early and having a new match from Tuesday to Friday for that, you know, little bit of a gap to make it. Then it's going to go back to the whole every Friday, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, they
and-
just need to take it down to make the Borderlands change, and then they gotta take it down to link the stuff, which is why there's a short matchup. Link the stuff! Woohoo!
They need to do the thing. Yeah, I'm just waiting for people to bitch about having desert.
Mhm.
For whoever's
Actually-
red to just be like, yeah!
Mhm.
I actually can't wait to get Desert back.
That's what I'm saying.
I
I
kinda
did see a
just
lot of
wanna
people
play
talk
on-
about that, and they're like, "Oh, I can't wait to like play it," or like, you know, it's like this. I'm like, where were all these people? Like, what?
I still think one of those things with the polls is that it's not in.
She lost her char. Oh, her quaggin.
Oh,
Okay.
I honestly think one of the bigger problems is that there's no in-game polling. Like, there are probably still people who have no idea that any of these WD polls have happened. Period. The end.
Yeah.
Well, if you play World vs. World and you level up, you get a poll thingy if there's one for the week. You get an in-game meal.
It needs to happen.
Oh
Is
Oh
there
no,
anything-
there's something wrong with the
Okay.
quaggin.
no! His thing came apart.
Do you know how to use a needle and thread?
Or a staple gun, or a nail gun.
I don't have those!
Or hot
Actually, I have a
glue?
nail gun. Well,
I don't use a nail gun.
Anyway,
No, Arlie, it's just the gift is his main hand weapon. Or his offhand, that's a focus.
it sounds like
Oh,
you need
okay.
a repair hammer, which you can find in World v World.
For a limited time.
Actually,
Only until Tuesday.
yeah, they're gonna be disabled.
Oh, crap. Well, that was. Well, then you better
tried-
hurry,
That's
like the
another thing
Gemstore
that's
stuff.
Going away on Tuesday.
Yeah, like the Gemstore stuff. You better hurry if you want to try that repair hammers. Get in there.
But that's what I think they said the next poll's going to be about, whether they should make them permanent or not.
Okay.
And that's going to need the 75% majority.
Oh, did
I
they
don't
say
know.
that?
Well, they said that when
Probably.
they. Well, no, they said it when they finished the poll in the first place.
Oh,
Is
okay.
that just to put them in as a beta status, it would need a 50%, a simple majority, and then to make them permanent would have to take the 75% that they've decided is their supermajority.
Okay.
So
But
my only thought is I don't think that vote's going to pass unless they are super amazing at repairing golems. It's not worth, like, it doesn't feel like it's worth it to hold a position with Siege. in WW whenever I've played in large scale content. It
I mean,
just
do you think
doesn't
it's
feel
going to
like
have a
worth
more...
holding it.
This is the one thing I'm thinking of. Do you think it's going to have a more tactical use maybe in the Desert Borderlands? Since it's such a requirement to traverse. Like, that's usually people's complaint about it. Like, it's kind of a shame that they're disabling them and bringing back the Desert Borderlands.
In there.
What's that?
There's bottlenecks in the Desert Borderlands, so like those are good places where you could set up and hold with siege.
Which it's like, it's interesting that they're disabling it and then having this Desert Borderlands, which it hasn't gotten much testing on there.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point.
And what chat's saying is, yeah, siege is for trolling enemy Zergs. It's to annoy enemy Zergs, definitely. It's and to get into forts.
One of the ballista bolts is a knockdown. Have a couple ballistas set up and then just launch stuff into the enemy Zerg. So I can understand that.
That would
But
be
did they
awesome.
say they're removing the hammers on the next patch or next
On
release
Tuesday.
of content? Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're removing it with and adding back the Desert Borderlands. It's kind of like how we said with the I never really felt like Desert Borderlands got a fair chance with all the issues that it seemed like it was very much designed for what they wanted to do but they didn't have enough time to get to. And now it seems like, with the repair hammers, where siege is very important to maybe, create a choke point or hold people down in the Desert Borderlands, it might not really seem, or it really might not get to be tested there to maybe see people going, oh, this does make a difference, or makes it more tactical, but so, well, it'll be interesting.
Yep.
Next up, we have this past week, a lot of info came out about the idea of insider trading, which basically, for people who don't know, a lot of a lot of the YouTube personalities or stuff like that have access to it, but also people that are friends with devs. And
But
Go ahead.
So, they basically have a test server, but it's not it's a private test server. It's most other MMOs have public, test realms servers, whatever you want to call. Okay, that makes more sense.
chat issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, a lot of people are questioning, and this has always been an issue even with public test realms and servers and whatnot from other games, but a lot of people are wondering that there's supposedly been evidence. Now, I'm not a native German speaker. Supposedly there was a streamer that said on their chat, and a lot of people said they've translated it, but this is also someone on the internet telling me that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Type it into Google and Google Translate.
Oh God.
I wouldn't even be able to know how to begin to spell that.
You can copy paste, but yeah, Google Translate is so bad.
Well, you can't really copy and paste a stream
It's
if
audio.
they're saying it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought somebody had written the words of what.
There's images of the chats
Oh.
people have posted, but yeah.
But yeah,
Anyway.
so apparently this person was telling people to sell their stabilizing matrices. Like, this was before the last big change, and of course, with the changes, apparently they basically got something to... I don't know the exact story, but they just with the new infusion system, that's it.
They had info about something that was changing beforehand, so then they told people to go ahead and, like, I don't know, either buy all the matrices so they could sell them later or sell them now. Either way.
Okay, so basically the change that happened was to make the +5 +9 agony resist, I think it was. So it's +5 attribute +9 infusions. You would need stabilizing matrices to do that, and it requires, I think, a stack So the prices for stabilizing matrices essentially doubled since the patch came out. I think it went down like 10 silver, but it's still higher than it normally is. But if people knew in advance, they would just buy a whole bunch of stabilizing matrices or hold on to stabilizing matrices and just sell them afterwards or make their infusions. So things like that have been happening.
And I mean, to talk about that topic, they did apparently Arena is looking into that, but the question I want to pose to Chad and you guys is, do we maybe move out of the idea of a private testing server and to like a public, PTR like other games do? I mean, what do you see as the pros and cons of that? I mean,
well, for me, the giant con of moving to a public test server is, well, goodbye to ever being surprised by anything in a patch ever again. Like, that's the nature of that, because you get people in there testing it, they'll be all over, and even if you try to, like, avoid that stuff, like, there's only going to be so much that, like, if you look at the internet at all, there's only going to be so much that you'll be able to, bother. And for us, specifically us and people who cover this stuff, like, we'll end up talking about shit like that. So,
like, how much speculation did we do on Heart of Thorns
a lot
before it released?
Oh,
like,
so much.
we were having problems keeping it below 2 hours at times because we were talking about what might happen with Heart of Thorns. And we would, oh yeah, this was found on the PTR.
Yeah.
This thing, this quest, this stuff.
I mean,
I
in
remember
reality, it just moves up the application of knowledge just, however many months forward.
Logging in the day of a patch and, like, wandering around, or even, like, weeks after a patch, discovering something and being like, oh wow, hey, that's cool, I didn't know that was there.
Getting that next living story in-game mail when you log in. If there was a PTR, you'd know you were going to get it. You'd know the exact text.
You'd know exactly what happens in the story before you play it. Like,
and basically, it would just have to be a PTR without spoilers.
Which, like, again, I don't think that's really possible.
Yeah.
Unless they spent a lot of time setting up, like, the way the Heart of Thorns betas were set up, where it was just Verdant Brink and it was just a small subsection of it.
It was more to test the mechanics of the systems instead of...
And, like, server stability for those areas and whatnot.
Yeah. Like, that'd be really the only way for it to properly work, and that takes a lot of extra effort to set up those test cases.
Yeah. I feel like the private test server is not the issue. I feel like they have a ton of tools they can use to hunt down people who do this shit, and, like, I think I was telling you guys on Twitter, like, they should tar and feather them and ban them for life. Like, I have no pity for people who take advantage of,
I mean, granted,
what
they did break an
know
NDA
to, like,
technically
gain.
for doing that, so...
I don't care. Like, if
well, no,
you know
I'm saying
it,
they should be removed from the program, possibly. I don't know what their NDA entails, but...
Because, there would be a
But
penalty
you would think,
entailed.
like, anybody who, well, first of all, so I was kind of reacting as, like, you're like friends of devs. Seriously, like, if they ever found out a dev told a friend something like this so that they could take advantage of the TPR, that would be a huge freaking deal. Like, I don't see any of the devs doing it. Like, because honestly, I think that would mean their job if it ever got back that they're the ones who told those people. Like, I don't think that's likely. I think it's far more likely that somebody had knowledge from something else, and then they should be able to track that down. Like, the various things. They've done it before with people leaking stuff on Reddit and figuring out who did it and, like, getting rid of them and stuff. So I have no pity for those people. Like, for me, like, the idea of using your inside knowledge to take advantage of the trading posts is, like, I feel like it's like one of the worst things you can do. Like, get out. I hate you. Like, it's just not okay.
Harley wants blood.
I do.
I think the best solution is I'm pretty sure Internet has like those economists that know like these changes will affect the trading post in this way significantly. So any changes that you can possibly put in a blog post, you should do that. So just okay, we're gonna have like for the infusion changes, they could totally have done that. Say, hey, we're gonna be changing infusions in this way. We're going to have this new system, and it's going to use stabilizing matrices to, make these awesome new infusions. So it's like everyone who sees that blog post, like everyone has access to that blog post. Like that's if you didn't read it, that's your fault. So everyone else will be on the ball and will be able to profit by buying things early or whatever, what have you. I think that's the best way to do it.
I mean, what happened with the whole ArenaNet TV or Guild Wars TV thing? Like, they joked how they were gonna have like they tried to do it with like TwitchCon or was it
that's
PAX?
right. They were gonna try and have their channel constantly streaming something.
And they were showing the cooking one. I want one that's like like one of those like stock like television guys, but have like one of the devs, but like
Guild Wars 2 economist.
Yeah, like just do that like bi-weekly or something like that. So, or when they have information like that, because I think that'd be an interesting way to be like buy, sell, like those
cool.
stupid over the top like sound effect.
Get out of silk! Get out of silk!
So I think I don't know what their state of their ArenaNet TV is, but there's a show idea there.
Was that just for TwitchCon, or
maybe it was?
I don't know.
They didn't really
they
say
weren't
anything.
very clear with it. I think. Like I don't know. My impression was I thought they were going to try and keep doing it for as long as possible, but
yeah, I honestly thought that was just like for TwitchCon, but
it might have been.
Maybe. It never said like if there was an end date, and part of me started to think that because when they started showing the cooking one, and they had I'm blanking on names.
Was great.
With the
Jennifer Hale.
Jennifer Hale.
You forgot Jennifer Hale.
I wanted to say any other character.
I'm pretty sure he didn't forget the sound of her voice, but he forgot her name.
Yes.
I want to yell something about damn white male roar.
Oh.
Curse the patriarchy. She's been on Twitter too much. Forgive her.
But honestly, like when I saw that, I was like, they're never going to be able to continue this because that's probably really tough to get her to, do this. So
well,
that's what made me worried.
So
but
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Chad is saying that was just for TwitchCon, but yeah, maybe don't throw out the idea of trying to do like maybe not a constant thing because that's really tough to ask for a dev
call out
of a
to
game.
The community. Somebody needs to start a Guild Wars 2 economy show because that would be really cool.
And make it like some of those like really bad ones where like he's just sitting in an oval desk with like I forget I don't know if he's still on, but there's some like economist guy that's like Hardball or Moneyball or the Bowl or something.
I don't remember, but I know who you're talking about, and I'm pretty sure he's off the air now.
But like, yeah, he would always have like the thing. He'd be like, "Yeah, I think you should buy," and he hit the button and be like, "Buy," and like just over the top, like, please, someone do that.
Up or something.
Yeah. Anyway, but hey, if someone knows who that is, definitely, let us know.
Comments or chat something.
Yeah. But,
and honestly, and on a more practical note, leaking stuff from the PTR when it's stuff like that, shit could change, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not set in stone until it hits live.
Yeah. The other downside of it is like there's no real way for them to take it. Like they can ban the people who did it and like got like told people and stuff, but there's no way for them to like take it back. Like if somebody said it on a YouTube and like the viewers found out about it, like I don't really hold it against the viewers who were told by this person and then went and did it. Like I don't know.
It's one of those things where when this stuff kind of happens, they have to come down hard.
Yeah.
And it's you getting banned and kicked out of the PTS thing and everything. That's the threat behind it. That needs to be what happens. So That's really the only way to do anything about it.
Mm.
And them intentionally keeping their audience for this particular server very small. I mean, honestly, they don't do much. I've very rarely ever heard of stuff like this happening, which is why it's an actual news item is so rarely, which is good. So.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm sure this is something they take extremely seriously. So I don't know that we'll ever get a message back that they said, "Hey, we banned these people or stuff."
They're gone.
For various reasons. Like, there's a lot of reasons why they potentially wouldn't do that, but I don't think it's at all likely that they would let it go. Like, it's just such a huge deal, you know?
I feel like it's we'll look into it, and we probably won't tell you what we did, but we'll fix the issue.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's issues of, like, privacy. There's issues of what they potentially might accidentally reveal that they don't mean to by confirming that they.
It was mad money. Sorry.
So, you know, there's a lot of potential reasons, and I'm sure I'm not even thinking of some of the reasons why they might not say, yeah, we banned the hell out of these people. We killed them, you know, whatever. We won't. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get that. But hey.
And that's kind of an interesting point chat's even bringing up. They're mentioning another, YouTuber streamer, and they said they stacked 50,000 stabilizing matrices for the last patch. If they did that, it's like, if they're doing it for themselves, is that still an issue? I mean...
see, yeah.
Because there's a difference when you tell people to go do it. Like, that's a lot worse,
I think
but what about...
your insider knowledge to benefit yourself is still freaking wrong. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. They can track it in-game. Like, come on. Like, we can see your account. Why else would you be doing that?
But technically they can't do anything about that if they don't tell anyone. They just buy all the things. They don't say anything.
No, they can do something about it. Because
I think she's saying if they're monitoring it.
I would be shocked if in the NDA it is not included a line about using your knowledge to benefit yourself ahead of everyone.
Oh, okay.
Like, if
I
they
guess
did
in that
not
case,
include that, that would be a huge oversight on their legal department.
Yeah, and they can look up when you started purchasing these things. If they were like saying like, oh, I just buy 10 100 a week, then you just lucked out that your habit paid off. But if it's just like, oh, I did I found out in the private testing server, I'm gonna start then that's a bigger issue. Which in the end I think that's why all we got back is they're looking into it, because they're probably gonna figure it out and take action.
Honestly, I think just any changes that could affect the market, just put a blog post out. I feel like that is a good solution, just because everyone has access to it, and you can put it out at the same time you give access to anyone on the testing server.
I would. Go ahead.
Well, my argument with that is that everyone has access to the game when the patch releases.
But,
why make a blog post about it?
Well, the blog post will be in advance, so they know the new systems. Like for the infusion system,
when they're going to tell whoever the extra people are or whatever, when they're going to tell them, they could actually make a blog post too, maybe. Although the point of telling them is
because the infusion system, you didn't really know about it until the patch landed.
Right.
So you could have a blog post say, hey, we're going to be changing the infusion system, and it's going to be in this way.
Or they could even do it not so specific. There could just be like, hey, we're going to be making some changes in the next patch that will affect the profitability of X, Y, Z, whatever items, and
I'm still if the NDA says, hey, you can't tell people about it. Hey, there's a clause where you can't use the knowledge from here to profit from it. I still don't understand why there needs to be Like,
Well,
are we
this-
talking about trying to future-proof to prevent issues like this from happening in the future?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, because I don't, like, people are coming in and out, I guess, so there could be possible leaks in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So-
always a risk. Anytime you reveal anything to anybody ahead of time, that's a risk, unfortunately. It's one of the
And-
reasons
and-
why games companies are so, like, secretive.
And honestly, ArenaNet does it right because they're apparently, as far as I can tell, if the betas for Heart of Thorns was any indication, their betas are focused, and it's like you are going to test this thing
Hmm.
because that's what we brought you in to do
Yeah.
for people on the public on their private test server.
Yeah,
If-
it really depends what the server's like, eh?
And
Yes.
it also, yeah, because stuff like, okay, does the Mystic Forge recipe work? Does the purchase work? That's not something that you really need to release to people to test.
Hmm. Yeah,
So-
I mean, there's also, like, I don't know if this happens, but I've also heard in the past about, like, when we get the big quarterly patches, there's always the balance patches on the professions. I don't know if this happens, but I have heard tell of, so who knows. But supposedly they let some of the high-profile PvP people know about the changes ahead of time, and supposedly there was something that happened somewhere where somebody told somebody about changes. Like, that's also an issue. It's not one where you're profiting from the trading post, kind of, but, like, that sort of stuff, like, I understand why they would do that, but at the same time, it's also, like, not good.
Yeah. And well, in terms of, like, skills and stuff, the API changes actually, and people actually look those up and use those as a kind of like a base. But
Mhm.
I know they did that for the last patch, but half of those changes didn't go out at all, so.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
it's
know.
just one of those things where if you break trust when ArenaNet trusts you, the hammer needs to come down hard.
Yeah.
That, like, stuff like this, there's no positive reinforcement here other than we're going to continue letting you know stuff ahead of time, and because this is a game you enjoy. If you F up, basically
Yeah.
everybody else who is in the program needs to know that if you F up, you're going to lose something.
Well, yeah,
And
it's
what
important to
Arlie was
note.
saying-
I'm assuming they're signing NDAs. I mean, and that's a legal contract. I mean, I know you're playing a video game, but that's a legal.
This is their business.
Yeah.
This is serious.
So,
So,
I mean, the other thing, oh shit, I just lost my train of thought on it.
NDAs. Hammer coming down.
Oh, so what I was gonna say was, like I said, I don't expect we'll get a back from them, oh hey, we banned these shits, whatever thing. But there is a part of me, because, like, I feel like because of the trust that was broken, because this is a huge deal, especially because this involved the trading posts and all of that, and people, like, stocking up things to make money, I kind of feel like I really wish they would make a post and be like, hey, these are the people who were involved in it, and they're banned the hell, like, out and done. I don't think we'll get it, but I kind of want that.
Arlie
Because
wants
I
blood.
feel like it would be like a, yes, I want blood. Me too. But I feel like it also would be like a reinforcement for the people who do get the chance to see this, to be like, hey, wow, that really happened. It really bit those people in the ass. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I do agree that if you're on, like, if you have access to that server, please, like, accept the NDA as it is. I don't know if people are actually getting around it somehow. Maybe that's the case. Maybe the Arena needs to look at that as well. But for the most part, in this particular case, with people leaking information, it shouldn't be happening, and hopefully they find a solution for that. So.
mhm. Well, last up, let's go back to Gemstore stuff. This time, stuff returning because as we talked about last week and the week before, the anniversary is coming up for Guild Wars 2, and that means Gemstore anniversary sale. So basically, check in every day. This is when I feel bad because we do this weekly, but it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's like, oh, this cool stuff came out, everybody, but it's probably gone. Yeah. Which honestly, if you're probably watching this on YouTube, the stuff that we're going to start talking about might be gone by the time you get to this point, and I apologize. But that's why you show up live or definitely log into Guild Wars 2 each day. So let me bring those down. First off, the stuff that is leaving tomorrow, we have first up the Kaith Bloom Dagger. It is 480 gems, and it is just the skin, just like all Gemstore stuff. The next up is the Exalted Glider for 340 gems, and it is just a glider, not a back piece, just so you guys know. And last up that is, another thing that's leaving tomorrow is the Lunatic Guard outfit, which probably won't return till Halloween, I'm assuming. So this one isn't probably as bad if you miss out on it. I'm assuming it's going to return in Halloween, but that not 100% sure on that. So those are kind of like the cosmetic items you can get from it. You can also get the Flame Dye Kit or the Frost Dye Kit for 125 gems, 5 for 500 gems, or 25 for 2500 gems. And also currently a Merchant Express for 17 gems or 5 for 62. So
bunny ears are awesome, Malfanis.
No, I'm not saying they're like, I'm not saying anything against them. I don't think I'll ever buy them. I don't understand the hype behind them, but sure, whatever. Awesome. Bunny ears. Go ahead. Bunny ears. Whatevs.
Yeah, I'm not too hyped about them, but I'll probably get them next time they come up.
This stuff, I like the Electro Glider looks neat. It is exactly what I think they should do more with gliders.
Well, but what about these first sets that are leaving literally tomorrow?
Right now,
yeah. Would you pick up any of these things right now if you possibly didn't have them already, or do you enjoy the things and recommend them?
The Lunatic Guard outfit is cool. I'm not touching that, but it's just
Lunatic
not for
Guard
me.
outfit is cool because you can dye the flame. That's important.
Yeah. That is something they need to do more of.
Yes.
They do need to do that.
They need more dyeable particle effects. And then the only thing I'd really maybe look for is Kaith's Dagger. I might just pick that up just on an off chance that I'd want it for something else.
Yeah, I'm probably going to grab that because every time that's come up, I've been like, maybe, but I don't know. And then I'm always sad when it's gone. And then it comes up again. I'm like, maybe, I don't know.
And it's gone.
Yeah. I have Kaith's Dagger already. Maybe the Lunatic outfit, and I could use some merchants actually. I don't think I only have one.
Really? You're gonna get? I was gonna ready to write that off as a joke. Like,
I legit like I could use those. I mean, they're pretty cheap, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's usable, very usable, especially if you're running around.
Maybe I just don't use them that often that I have so many saved up from.
Or if you're doing the multi-map looting crap.
Harley is out for blood. Pulling no
Not
punches.
That I have strong opinions.
No, I couldn't tell. But like I said, that stuff is leaving tomorrow, so that would be like Sunday noon Eastern. So like I said, it probably will be gone if you're watching this on YouTube. But for the people on YouTube and still in chat live, we do have stuff that is 2 days away, so you have till, I'm assuming, Monday noon Eastern. And that would be the Electro Descender Glider for 340 gems. The Electro Ascender toy item for 200 gems. And the Bram Mace skin and the Bram Shield skin for 600 gems apiece. So, important to note, while those two images look the same, they pretty much are. They function differently, but if you have them both, they kind of work in a cool way to kind of have like almost like 100% upkeep. but the electromagnetic descender is just a glider, not a back piece. But the electromagnetic ascender is a toy item, and if you don't know or maybe missed out on it, what was it, about a month or maybe 2 months ago now?
About a month.
Yeah, they had changed the toy items, so like the riding broom, the sonic drill, this ascender, the magic carpet. I think that might be it. Basically, any of the toy items, when if it has a mount feature, it will let you switch to that. And it will bring up two new options on your skill bar where you can hit combat mode, so you can go attack something, and then as soon as you get out of it, it will bring you back onto like the riding broom, or in this case, the electromagnetic ascender. So basically, they act like cosmetic mounts. Long story short, they don't add any speed boosts unless it's a passive that your character's providing, or someone near you. So, but it's. Long story short, it seems like it's a cosmetic mount, which I absolutely love. And if you kind of have both the glider and toy, you're basically an electrical well, I don't want to say anomaly because that's actually a thing. Electrical bubble-ish type thing walking around. I was about to say bubble, but I was like, they also have a glider bubble. I don't want to.
Is that still on the trading post? Is that still on the Gemstore?
The bubble?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't be surprised if that comes back either.
Yeah.
Ooh.
See, anytime I think about the bubble, I think about how jealous I am of certain elementalists and their overloads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certain elementals.
Because they did I'm so disappointed in the animations for overloads for humans, but that's another topic.
I like them.
The
I like
glider
the Earth one.
I honestly, I really love the fact that they changed all those like travel toys to work so that when you hit the ground they keep going. When you pop through like zone portals, they keep going. It's kind of cool. I like that.
Oh, Chad is
Did
saying
they-
the bubble glider is still there.
Is still in there.
Okay. Do they resume after combat, or do you have to reactivate them?
The toys, they
Yeah.
resume after combat if you said.
Yeah,
to
it puts a
do
little
it.
buff on your
Okay.
bar that's like flashing, and if you're done attacking things, and that goes off, it then puts you back on the mount. Otherwise, it continues
Which,
to.
to me, like I never liked those things just because they were such a pain if you got attacked and then you had to redo it and like blah. Like it was just annoying. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was annoying. So it made me not want to use them. But now that they made that change, it's like, oh well, that's easy, Like,
I remember in
better.
so many shows in the past when we were talking, I was like, I wouldn't mind cosmetic mounts as long as they don't, add any bonus to it. I kind of like it just because it's like I said, if you have a passive thing, because it only changes out your first 5 skills. So like if you're running a Revenant and have the glints thing on that gives you 33% swiftness, that's on your utility part. So that it will give you a 33% increase on your speed, so you have a faster mount, but it's nothing that the amount is giving, which is, I think, perfect for this game. So definitely pick this up, or if you see some of the other riding toys in there, pick those up instead, but this one is at a discount.
I am going to say one thing. I'm going to hop back to something QED said a while ago. Daily talking scripts during the sale.
I saw that.
Hmm.
That would be a little crazy. QED.
Would
Be a
be
little
really
nuts.
crazy.
It would be like a
But-
5-minute show each day. Hey guys, this happened.
really.
All right, bye. But yeah.
Blurbs.
Oh no, you could follow at Talking Script. Maybe we could tweet it out.
Yeah.
Just to help remind people. Arlie, you have a new job.
She did do that side
yay!
smirk like, thanks a lot there, Jim.
You're
That's
welcome.
a great idea.
Yeah, if you're
Eyes up,
following,
blood.
yeah, we do have Talking Skritt. One of us will either type it out, or I know Dolphy.net. I mean, we use the images from her site and stuff, and always try to push back to it. I know she constantly will tweet out like when she has an update on her site, and she updated today's too, so I'm sure she'll be doing each day as
I
it
was gonna
comes.
say, she's pretty quick on those.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good people out there to follow. But yeah,
I
we'll
will admit,
try
I'm still
to
debating.
go for it.
I'm still debating Bram's mace and shield.
Yeah.
At
Oh, I
least
got
it-
those too.
Shield.
They're actually
No
really cool.
QED
in
behind
Norn.
it.
But so are you guys considering picking any of these up? It sounds like you're on the fence about the Bram Mace and Shield skin.
Hmm.
I have the glider.
Yeah, I think I had the glider and the riding thing, and it's just honestly, if you wanted a feel like a cosmetic mounts, it was a great way for them to do it with something they already had, and I hope they expand upon it. Any other thoughts?
Bring back Phoenix Glider.
Yeah,
Think about
because
it.
they did not give that enough time.
Phoenix glider is awesome, y'all.
I feel like that's the reason they took it down so early, because they knew
They're
the
like, this
sales
is too
figure.
good.
Entrapment.
The thing that killed me is that they're like, yeah, let's bring the Foley guys on the Friday stream and be like, let's talk about the Phoenix Glider, and it's like it's no longer available.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, what
That was
one
bad timing there.
for Chad and for you guys? What would you want to see return, or maybe even a new item in the anniversary sale?
I want the Soul River glider to come back by itself so I can get that. I want it so bad.
Yeah, actually,
Man,
that's
you had to open up that can of worms, huh?
I want the assassin's outfit that was in that bundle, but just by itself.
I thought that was on the thing
No.
right now.
No,
That
that
was
whole
back
bundle
when
was
they
bundled
were-
together, never separated.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was a big. That was before they finally started splitting out all of the bundles, and the only thing that I think has ever been purely in the bundle from that point on has been the
The
what are
special
the
weapons,
shiny weapons.
the immortal
Yeah,
weapons.
the immortal weapons. Yeah, those are the only things that have been locked, and that's fine. I like that idea, but the outfits and the gliders actually being outside of that,
Mm-hmm.
so I'd like to see those come back. Yeah, that's a good idea.
That would be a nice little thing for an anniversary sale. Like, I mean, did they say in there that everything that was returning was going to be on sale? Because theoretically, if they did that, I could see them not putting a discount. But it would be
I
nice.
don't think so. Like, they've done it before where they've just brought back things like, hey, get it while you can, but it's not been on sale, so
Yeah.
that wouldn't surprise me too much.
Yeah. So I mean, they could theoretically do that with. Chat saying new mount toy, shiny gold throne on poles being carried by a pack of Skritt. That would be interesting. Though there'd have the rare chance that you lose control, like they just start wandering off with your gold throne.
Yeah, like they all run off in a random direction going, shiny!
Oh, Chad is opening up that can of worms. I saw a vampire dragon sword skin from Guild Wars 1. Because
Uh-oh.
they went a little off the rails with the dragon swords in Guild Wars 1. Like, I think they originally had the fiery, of course. Then they had icy. Then they had vampire. I thought it started to feel like they were doing so many. Like, it was like... So... Ooh, watchwork mining pick. There are a lot of good suggestions. So yeah, hopefully next week we'll be able to say, yeah, it's in there. Go pick it up. Or guys, I hope you picked it up on Tuesday because you missed it. Like,
I still feel like I lucked out a lot with the Watchwork mining pick.
you.
Yeah, can you stop hurting his feelings, dude?
No.
I did too. I got it when it was up.
I honestly don't care because I always have so many sprockets, but
Well, I didn't really care, and then I randomly realized how little I needed to make the spinal black back piece, and I was like, well, I need an ascended back piece, so I just made those. All the sprockets that I had gathered from it came in handy.
Mm-hmm. Before Jim keeps rubbing in his, watchwork mining pick.
Me too.
Jim, where can
I'm
be
rubbing
found?
it in too.
I can be found on Twitter at MelphanusMMO.
And also rubbing it, apparently, Robin, where can you be found?
Arlie82 on Twitch and Twitter, and MMORly.com, and on MMORPG.com. All the MMOs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, basically, if it has an MMO in it, she might be there. It's sounding like that.
Arlie.
And Age, where can you be found?
Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at AgeNet Road.
Do you wanna rub anything? Never mind. That's a horrible sentence to say on the internet.
Oh,
And
Good night, everybody.
You can find me at simply_Dale on Twitch and Twitter. And if you're just popping in at the very end, I do apologize for just maybe that's the first thing you just heard. But we do this live every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. But don't worry, if you're catching us at the very end, we do throw this up on YouTube every Sunday at just search on YouTube Talking Skritt. We're usually the first one that pops up, and that goes up noon Eastern and 9 a.m. Pacific. And like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, if you can make it out on Saturdays, definitely come check it out, because especially with these anniversary sales, you might be missing out on something you really like. But always important to hop in every day into Guild Wars 2. And as always, we will see you in the game. Good night, everybody.